Let's go over the best weapons in Horizon Zero Dawn in 2021, because when the game came out, the lodge weapons from the hunting grounds were the best in the game, but with the Frozen Wilds expansion, which launched later, we got way better upgraded bows. And as you might know, the Frozen Wilds is included in the complete edition of the game that is now free till May 14th on PS4 and PS5, or of course available to buy on Steam. So high chance that you have this content too. It takes place in the middle of the game story-wise, and you can already go here very early on. And going to this new area will not impact your main game progression at all. There won't be any spoilers for the main story. It will actually help you a ton when fighting the many machines. So in this video, I want to tell you how to easily get the best weapons in the game very early on. I show them in action as well, compare them to other weapons in the game, and way more. So if you like that, then a like on the video would of course really help me out. And let's go. When the Frozen Wilds expansion released, we got upgraded BANUK versions of existing weapons, and the differences in stats and power is really substantial. For example here, the Shadow Sharpshot bow, which you can actually buy pretty early on at the merchant once you reached the Day Tower, so this after the Seeker at the Gate main mission. This is the best Sharpshot bow in the game, and it's actually pretty cheap as well, so totally worth getting, although again, you can way better focus on the BANUK weapons first, because the BANUK Power Shot bow, so basically the Frozen Wilds version of the Sharpshot bow, increased the damage of the precision arrow from 42 to 70 and the tear for that arrow from 15 to 25. The tear arrows itself are not touched, and you can of course use tear to remove certain parts of a machine, while the harvest arrows see a huge increase in damage as well, from 7 to 35 and from 25 to 30. And with these harvest arrows, you get more resources from killing machines. It doesn't apply for wildlife sadly, but yeah, with the BANUK version of the Sharpshot bow, these harvest arrows are a way better option against machines. On top of that, these BANUK bows have a special charging mechanic. If you namely aim down sight and fully charge your shot, and then the crosshair will change as well, and then let go of your arrows, your damage will be doubled. And yes, I say arrows, because this charge up mechanic is especially great if you got the double shot or triple shot skill unlocked. So then you deal even more damage with just one shot. It does cost quite a long time to charge though, but you can enhance this with handling mods. So it's actually smart to put one handling mod on these bows so you can get the double damage faster. Before I touch on the other BANUK bows, let's go over how you can get them. So again, these weapons are part of the Frozen Wilds DLC, and that is in this area over here on the map. And as you can see, I'm level 7 and I already reached this location. Because once you are able to explore a bigger part of the map, and this after the Womb of the Mountain mission, so very early on in the game, the first quest after that has you override a Strider as your first mount. And from that moment on, you can go to the Cut, this Frozen Wilds area. And only, by the way, pick up your complete edition items at the merchant. And I talked about this in my general tips and tricks video as well. Like, you come across the shop anyways, which is over here on the map. So right before the gate, you go through to talk to Varl. Go to the treasure boxes tab, and then you will be able to find the armor and weapons. Now you have to travel pretty far, but you can really ignore everything. Make sure that you get the campfires along the way though, and that you save there too. And by the way, playing on the very hard difficulty, so machines will spot me very easily, and it was still pretty easy to get to the DLC area. At one point you have to climb up and also find a character named Yariki. Now just continue down this path, ignore the Scorcher that will be kind of protecting this region, but you can sneak past it and then just climb up, and then you will reach the Frozen Wilds and also get an introduction cutscene. And after that you can talk to a merchant who is already selling the best bows in the game, but you need Bluegleam to buy them, and that's actually surprisingly easy to get even on a low level, meaning that you can buy these weapons very early on. Bluegleam is the exclusive resource in this area, and there are multiple ways to get it. You basically have to do the activities in the Cut, and VG247 made a detailed list with all the sources and rewards you get. and I will put this in the video description as well. So basically by doing the main missions, side missions, activities, and getting all the collectibles. But there is even an easier and faster way to get it, and that's by simply finding it in the world. And at the same merchant you can buy a map which shows you all the Bluegleam locations in this DLC area. So totally buy this map for 250 metal shards, 1 goat skin and 1 badger bone. And if you play on ultra hard, then the prices in the shop will always be higher. So turn down the difficulty when buying the map at this vendor. And overall, I would recommend like playing on normal or so when low level in the Frozen Wilds, because these enemies will of course be very high level. Aloy's level doesn't really matter that much, like I can still silently strike these scrappers on level 17 when I'm like level 7. But enemies will deal way more damage to you. The cool part is though that you can easily ignore the machines and still get the Bluegleam to buy these weapons. For the badger and the goat we want to go over here on the map, but there are many locations where you can find these animals close to where you start. Tag them after scanning them with your focus and then take them out, and after getting the resources you can buy the Bluegleam map. And then you see the crystals on the map as well and can easily collect them. I would also recommend buying the Animal Figurines, because collecting those will actually also get you 1 Bluegleam after bringing them over here on the map to this location. So that's also easily reachable in the Frozen Wilds. If you talk to the BANUK here, they can buy the boxes for the figurines you have. And then if you open them, you get some really nice rewards and 1 Bluegleam. But it's also smart to do the first big quest in the Frozen Wilds, the Shaman's Path, which is also doable early on. Like sure, you will encounter some stalkers in the cave, but you can ignore them. Just like the Frostclaw you encounter later on. I did take out the tower and then just moved on and left the Frostclaw behind. Like you don't have to kill any hard machines, and then after completing this mission you get 6 Bluegleam as well. And there is 1 animal figurine during this mission at the end too. And you will also encounter 1 Bluegleam, which you can just like loot. So 8 Bluegleam in total, which is quite a lot actually. And you also get the BANUK Stormslinger weapon at the end. And that's not like one of the best weapons in the game or anything, but it's still a fun sort of shock blaster to use against the machines. So after doing this mission and getting some Bluegleam in the world, I was able to buy the first BANUK bow. And the first one I bought is the striker bow. So a way better version of your regular hunter bow. If we compare it to the shadow hunter bow, you increase the damage from the regular hunter arrow from 11 to 28 and the tear from 13 to 33. Fire damage goes from 8 to 11 damage and 13 to 25 fire damage. And once again, with a fully charged bow, you will like instantly burn enemies, especially if you use fire mods. It doubles the effectiveness. And the damage for the hardpoint arrows is by the way more than doubled, from 21 to 49 damage and 38 to 45 tear. So sure, the damage is still lower than the power shot bow, but the precision arrows from those bows cost wires, which can be hard to come by. So I only use the power shot bow or like a sharp shot bow against super powerful machines, but for regular enemies the hunter bow, or in this case the striker bow, is already perfect and doesn't cost as much resources. And really, after buying this striker bow very early on, like I'm level 11 here, rocking the best hunter's bow in the game, and I bring down these machines very easily. And then getting the other bows in the Frozen Wilds will be way easier too. The Waterlogged side mission is by the way great as well. You only need to kill a snap moth from higher up, which makes it a bit easier. Like this mission also gives 3 Bluegleam at the end, and you will immediately see it show up when you get like close to this area. So it's totally worth doing this as well. And then you will have the 3 BANUK bows before you know it. The third one is a better war bow called Champion Bow, increasing the shock, freeze and corruption arrows by 10. So enemies just get the status effect faster. And again, by charging up the bow, the effect is doubled, which is insane. Corruption is by the way fun because it lets machines fight each other, although they will attack you as well if you are close. Shock, of course, speaks for itself, but I mostly use the bow to freeze the enemies because once a machine is frozen, you deal way more damage. So that's really a great tactic. And yeah, I compared the stats to the Lodge version of the warbow because like that's the second best warbow in the game. And you get this one by completing the Hunting Lodge missions in Meridian. So you pick up the quest here, and then you have to complete all 5 hunting grounds in the main game. And you see the locations right here. Like, you have to get a gold sun in each of them, so basically the gold medal. You can put the game on like the story difficulty to make it way easier, so you have like a higher chance of completing it. But overall, the hunting grounds are really endgame content, while again, you can get the BANUK bows way easier and faster, and these are the best bows in the game. It's still worth doing the hunting grounds though, because you will get a Lodge ropecaster here, which can help you chain down machines, especially nice against stormbirds. But even better is the Lodge blast sling. This one has 3 types of explosions that are a ton of fun to use and especially great against enemies that are frozen already. Like, totally a great alternative as well, although the ammo is quite expensive. Overall though, totally complete the hunting grounds at some points, likely near the end of the game. And yeah, the BANUK weapons, if you already got them, will totally help you complete these hunting grounds and will just help you a lot throughout the rest of Horizon. And totally subscribe for way more Horizon Zero Dawn videos. I will do more updated 2021 guides, also for the best armor sets and how you can get like best mods and other items pretty early on. So totally subscribe to miss no Horizon content. A like on the video would of course really help me out, and check out my general tips and tricks as well, for if you haven't already, on some amazing things that will help you a lot throughout the rest of the game. You can watch it by clicking on the screen. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.